Hello guys, welcome back to BossTube. Yes, so today I'm back. It's our true crime video today. I promised you I'm delivering because that's what I'm going to be doing, and that's what I'm going to try to do to keep my promises, because I'm pathetic on that side. So guys, welcome back to BossTube. Please like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to comment down below so I get to know if you have a case that you like me to research and like give you the story about that case. Please comment down on the section below and I'll deliver it to you guys. So guys, today on our first video, our first ever true crime video that I'm going to give you, we are going to take on this dark ride, because true crime video, there's nothing pleasant about it, there's nothing light about it, there's nothing bright about it. It's dark all through the way. So guys, today I'm going to give you a story of a guy by the name George Stinney Jr. And this guy was 14 years old when he was executed, and apparently he's the youngest person to be executed in the United States of America. And he was electrocuted through the electric chair, which other people refer to as Mr. Sparky. And okay, let me not give you like all the juice before I get to it's not even juice. Let me just give you the story. Are you ready? Drum roll. Yes. So guys, George Stinney Jr. You ask, who is he? I'm gonna tell you. I've done a research for you. So George Stinney Jr. was a 14-year-old boy, and he was born in the 21st October 1929, and he had siblings. He had parents by the name Amy Stinney, and his father was George Stinney Sr. He had siblings by the name of Charles, Amy, Catherine, and the other one was Johnny. So they were five in the family. And on this fateful day that changed this boy's life, they were grazing their cow near. Actually, let me tell you first that they were living in a very segregated community, whereby the whites and the blacks never mingled, and their communities were separated by railroad. And the black and the whites could not brush shoulders. That's just the kind of segregation that we are talking about. And on this fateful day, what really happened is that George and Amy, George was 14 and Amy was 10 years at that time. And it's on 1944. We are talking now on 1944. Because this whole thing happened 1944. Now what happened is that George was 14 and his sister was 10. They were grazing their cow near the railroad, and came these two girls. And these girls, one was Betty June Binica and Mary Emma Thames. These names, wow. Mary Emma Thames and Betty June Binica. They are sisters. They were riding a bike headed for kids just riding a bike looking for wildflowers. And when they met George and his sister, they asked them if they had seen any maypops. I think maypop is a kind of wildflower. I've never seen it myself. I just read it and I just googled and see it's just a flower. So they told the white girls, the girls were white. George Stinney Jr. and his sister are black, are from a black community. Mary Emma Thames and Betty June Binica were from the white community. So they never brushed hands. But I'm happy because it shows that even as adults, as we fight, as we pretend that we have class than others, kids tend to still mingle. Kids are just happy people. That's why even God says, just be like children. Jesus, not God. Be like children, Because if they really understood what segregation was, I don't think they will have spoken to them, to the black girl and boy who was Amy and George. Now, actually, this thing on this fateful day, if only they knew what could have even happened, what fate had had in store for them. I don't even think they would have gone to graze their cow. Now, when they had said that, the girls, they had bikes, they were riding bikes. They took their bikes and went along with their ride, and they left the black family. No, so I don't want to use that word. They left George and his sister there. So in the evening, when now I think around in the evening to evening hours, someone knocked at George Stinney's family, and it was a white woman. A white woman now came to inform the family that there was a search party which was being sent to go and look for two missing girls. That's when actually the family the Stinney family got to know that there was some people were missing, or some girls were missing. That's when they got to know, and innocently, George Stinney Jr. told his father, I saw these girls when we were grazing the cow, and they asked me about maypops, and we told them we had not seen maypops, and they rode their bikes away from us, and that's the last time we saw them. And apparently that's all he had to say for him to be sentenced to death. Could you imagine, like, you just being innocent and saying what you know can actually lead you to something you wish you never spoke. Now guys, after he said that, and people including Stinney Jr. all went to help in the search. They could not. They found these girls in a ditch. Yeah, a waterlogged ditch, and they were really hit, like their heads had so much injuries, like it was hit by rail metal, the metal that was always on the railroads. Like they were hit, and that one was poked through the head, and another one seemed like somebody has tried to sexually assault one of the girls. So when all this happened, now the white community started looking at the Stinney family in a certain way. Like, it's like they were feeling like George Stinney Jr. knew something, because he was the last person, he and the sister, the last people who saw these girls alive. And that one, ooh, the family, the white family was livid, and they just wanted justice for the two girls. So they just wanted to look for a scapegoat, including the police, because I don't think there was a black policeman at that time. So all the police people were just after the Stinney family, or actually the George Stinney, who had confessed, not really confessed, but just said that he had seen them. So the police went to the Stinney family and took George Stinney Jr. and John Stinney, and they were arrested. When they were arrested and taken to the police, the John Stinney Jr. John Stinney, yeah, wow, these names. John Stinney was released, and George Stinney Jr. was retained in an interrogation room, and he was interrogated. You know, for them it was not like the interrogation of like vindicate yourself if you really did not do it. It was all about, we want to find our reason why we are going to hold you. We want to, we are looking for a scapegoat, and we are going to make sure you are the one who is going to pay for this crime. And I think the boy got so agitated, he got so tired of being, pressured, and he just said, yes, I'm the one who did it, and I tried to do something sexually to one of the girls, and all this did just to let these people off his shoulders. He didn't know, he just convicted himself. Let me just say that. Now, when all this, when he had agreed to the crime, the people, I would say the white, because it was the white people who were interrogating him, the white police, they were like, yeah, we find a confession. He confessed, and there is nothing written that shows that this boy actually confessed to the crime. Nothing at all. No evidence that he actually accepted that he did it. So even this that I'm saying that he accepted, it's just allegedly, because nothing written, no evidence to show that he actually did this thing. So When he accepted allegedly, he was taken for a hearing that took around less than 3 hours, and a deliberation that was less than 10 minutes, and he was convicted. He was found guilty and convicted to death penalty through this Mr. Sparky, which is the in brackets with electric chair. And this boy, he was taken to prison or to jail to wait for his execution date. And now, during this execution, he met a guy by the name Wilford Hunter, and he was like a friend in there. He was the friend that he had, a friend that he could talk to, a friend that, everywhere you go, you get to find somebody you can talk to, somebody you can relieve your pressure to, your stress to, somebody you can be friends, just trying to find a social balance for yourself. So Wilford Hunter was the friend that he found in the cell. He was a cellmate, and what Wilford said is that George Stinney Jr. was a very humble. He looked frail, very weak. He could not like kill two girls at a go. Actually, girls that were almost not his age, but at least almost. And he also said that he was a lonely boy in there because he had no family, he had no friends, he had, even in the interrogation, I forgot to tell you guys, in the interrogation room, he had not a family member was allowed in there. In the hearing, no family members. It was an all white, all white jury. You can imagine, guys, what will you even say for you to vindicate yourself? Like, even if you had a million words to say, you will just blab through them because you are scared, because your skin color is already betraying you. Your skin color is already, they make you just hate your skin. You just wonder, God, why was I born in this skin? Because it's somehow making you go through so much. Because you cannot imagine going through an all jury, all white jury, all by yourself, all only black, surrounded by men and women who are white. Oh my God, I can't even imagine what that boy felt at 14 years. I'm sure even if he was vindicated at that moment, his life will never been the same again. I mean, it's traumatizing. So guys, when he was with the cellmate Wilford Hunter said that he was a very frail boy. He didn't feel like he had the power to do what these people were accusing him, but he was black, and that was enough. Wilford also was a black, and they used to talk, and he used to tell, he said that George Stinney Jr. was a very, what can I say, he was very lonely, because the time that he was sentenced, or he was found guilty, the father lost his job, and they were forced to leave South Carolina, Olcalo, South Carolina, because now the environment was not conducive for them, and they had to disappear from that community because everybody else, it was like a lynch mission. People would lynch them even at night, because it was, they were on the receiving end. Let me just put it that way. So guys, when he was in jail, George told Wilford to write a postcard to I don't remember the name of this guy, to a guy in Jacksonville, California. So I think it was a letter so he could come and assist him in the case. And apparently this guy had helped his brother before when he was in trouble, so he hoped that he would do the same for him. But apparently this time, no, he never got a reply from this person. So not Wilson, not anybody else knows if he got this message, or not Wilson, no Wilford, not George. None of them knew if he got the information or not. Now that George is dead, we cannot even say even he knew. I don't know. So guys, when in the process of this, being in cell, he was in cell for exactly 84 days. That is like 2 months and some days. for me, I think if you've gone through this death row people, the death row prisoners, they are given almost 20 years for them in their in death row, for them to wait. Let me say to wait. Maybe for new evidence, for something that may vindicate them, things like that. But this boy was given only 84 days, and I don't think they will ever get. Even if could have given him longer time, I don't think he will have been vindicated, because he didn't even have parents there. Because the parents had escaped from that area because of the kind of environment. The environment had turned toxic, so. I don't, it's only the parents who will have run out up and down to find lawyers to do this, but they were not there. They were not allowed to see their son. They were not, it was pathetic. I can imagine what the mother was going through. Really, I can imagine how she felt that she cannot be there for their kid. Personally, I know what that means, because I'll give you a story one day about that, but I don't want to talk about it. But just know that I knew, and I know what it is like. I know what it is like. And my case is not like somebody going to lynch you, or somebody going to murder my daughter or my son, or my son, but just being, how can I say, being helpless. You cannot assist those people who are dear to your heart. That's what I'm trying to say. So exactly 84 days after him being after him being sentenced to death, he was taken to I don't know if that era they called it a death house or a death row. I don't know the name they gave it, but he was taken to the electric chair, whereby there was this, it was always something like a glass. I'll see if I'll pin then the picture in the beginning of my video, for you to see how it looks like. That is, if I'll get something new, something that can show, YouTube and its copyright things. I don't want to mess myself up. So there was this glass, and the other side were the white guys watching. That's just for pleasure, because I don't think anybody there was sorry for this little kid who is paying for something he has no idea about. On the other side, yes, it was the white guys were just watching. It was, for them, it was a spectacle. They are watching something. I think they were just making themselves feel good about them. I don't know what they were doing, but I cannot bring myself to sit there and watch. And how can I say, the execution process, or with the electric chair was on the other side. Now he sat on that chair, and let me show you guys. He sat on that chair, and now his hands, the way the chair is designed for an adult, it's not designed for a kid. So he could not reach. There's this metal cape, or I don't know, I'll show you a metal cape that is always comes to cover you on the head like this. And I've not seen it recently, but that's what was used, or maybe that was what was used on him. And now when he was seated, he could not, the belts were big. They had to be fastened harder, but still they could not tighten him up, because they were not meant for kids. And he had to sit on books for him to raise him up. So because he was tiny, to raise him up so he could reach on that cape that had the connection to electricity. And allegedly, I've seen stories where they say that George Stinney Jr. had a Bible, and it was the Bible that was used to elevate him up, so he could reach to the socket, to the cape that was used for electrical connection. Others say it was books. Others say it was a Bible. I mean, there's so many. I don't know. Something was actually used to elevate him, but I don't know if it was the Bible or it was books. I don't know. I think he cannot be the only person who will tell us, with the people who executed him, and the people who are watching the spectacle. Those pathetic people, really, guys, really, yeah, those pathetic idiots who are watching another some boy being killed for no good reason. So he was electrocuted within 8 minutes. He was gone. He was burnt beyond recognition. He was black, and I'm telling you that because there's a picture showing how he looked like after the execution, and apparently the Wilford Hunter, there's an aunt who used to come and visit him. So when he was coming, he passed through the funeral home where George Stinney Jr. was put on display, and he went to see his body, and he said his body was burnt to a crisp, something like that. You can imagine how burnt he was. Like, I don't know, he was so burnt, and he was, his life was done at 14. And no, now we were talking about 1944. On 16th June 1944, this boy was executed, and within 8 minutes he was dead. And he was buried in South Carolina, in a Baptist church in South Carolina cemetery. And apparently others say that it was an unmarked grave, but when I Google around, I see there's some tombstones on his grave. So I think it happened later. Later they were able to maybe put the tombstones on his grave, because I've seen two types of graves, one that looks ancient, another one that looks latest. And this boy, apparently the good news, I don't know if it's bittersweet. I don't even understand how good this news. Yeah, it's good because now the family will not be branded as murderers. But now the point is, the boy is dead. He died for something he did not do. And it's really annoying. It's really devastating to imagine what the parents felt, like the pain these parents went through before they died, because apparently the father died in 1965, and the mother died in 1989. And I can imagine the pain they felt not being there for their son. Okay, even if it was going to be execution, at least, even if it's the execution it was inevitable, at least they could have let him be there with the parents, be there for him at least for his last moments, which did not happen. And I've seen where I don't know, it's Catherine who said that when their brother was taken to prison, their mother stopped laughing. He never saw he never saw his mother laugh again. Like, it was done. Ooh. Don't worry. Like, the mother never laughed again. Like, for her, I think she felt also guilty, because wow, like, I was never, like, what kind of a mother am I that I left my son to be burnt to death? When in real sense, she really had nothing to, she really could do nothing about it, because she was in a position where she could not help. So guys, and God, let's just reach there. So guys, that is the story of George Stinney Jr. Have you ever heard of him, or I've told you something new? Come along, let's take a ride. I'm going to give you more dark and dark and dark. We just started this road and we are going down here, because people and this earth, people are weird and weird. Thank you guys for being here for my first crime video. Thank you guys for supporting. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking, and don't forget to comment, guys. Don't forget to comment. I'm telling you, don't forget to comment. Mwah. Love you guys.